Hello, welcome back to Small Hearts, Loud Voices. My name is Adrian Adair. I'm founder of Heartbeat Forward, and this is the podcast dedicated to making congenital heart disease impossible to ignore. So we've talked about the numbers, we talked about the diagnosis, we have sat with the parents in the waiting rooms and held the weight of what they carry. But today we do something different. Today we step back. Today we stop talking about the children and let a child speak for themselves. Because here is something I've noticed about the way the world talks about congenital heart disease. It talks about it in a language of adults, in the language of medicine and advocacy and awareness campaigns and fundraising goals. It talks around the children, above them, on their behalf. And somewhere in all of that, the most important voice gets lost, the child's. Today we give it back. This is episode 5, and this one belongs entirely to them. Here's something that does not show up in medical literature. Children with congenital heart disease understand their own condition far earlier and far more deeply than most adults give them credit for. By the time a CHD child reaches school age, many of them have already been through more medical experiences than most adults will face in a lifetime. They have had echocardiograms and cardiac catheterizations and blood draws and medical schedules. They have spent nights in hospital beds. They have watched their parents cry in hallways they were not supposed to see. They have answered the same questions from the same well-meaning adults over and over again. Are you okay? Does it hurt? Are you scared? And most of the time they say yes. I'm fine, because they have learned earlier than any child should have to learn that their honesty makes the people they love afraid. So they carry it quietly. Research tells us that children with chronic illness, including congenital heart disease, develop emotional intelligence and resilience at a rate that is consistently outspaces their peers. They are more empathetic, more attuned to the feelings of others, more aware of what it means to be present in a moment because they have learned in the most versatile way possible that moments are not guaranteed. They are also more likely to feel isolated, more likely to struggle with anxiety around their own bodies, more likely to lie awake at night with questions they do not know how to ask because the adults around them are already carrying so much. They deserve to be heard, not summarized, not spoken for, heard, in their own words, in their own voice, exactly as they are. His name is August. He is 9 years old. He has brown eyes and a gap between his front teeth and a collection of approximately 247 Hot Wheel cars that he has organized by color in a system that makes complete sense to him and no one else. He was born with a congenital heart defect called Atrioventricular Septal Defect, a hole between all 4 chambers of his heart. He had his first surgery at 3 months old, his second at 18 months. He has a scar that runs from the base of his throat to the center of his chest that he calls it's a zipper. He named it himself when he was 4. His mother did not teach him to call it that. He just looked in the mirror one morning and said, "Mom, I have a zipper," and she had to leave the room so he would not see her cry. August goes to school. He plays with his Hot Wheels. He argues with his older sister about who gets the remote control. He eats cereal for breakfast and complains about homework and does all of the ordinary, extraordinary things that 9-year-old boys do. He also goes to cardiology appointments every 6 months. He takes medication every morning. He knows that certain activities require a conversation before he joins in. He knows what to do if he feels dizzy. He knows the name of his cardiologist and the name of his condition and the name of every surgery he has had. He knows things no 9-year-old should have to know. And when you ask him what it's like to have a heart condition, he looks at you very seriously and says this: "It is just my heart. It is the only one I have ever had, so I don't really know what a different one would feel like. I think it makes me appreciate stuff more. Like when I wake up and nothing hurts, I feel really happy about that. Most kids do not think about that. I think about it every day." Then he goes back to organizing his Hot Wheels. 9 years old, 247 cars, and more wisdom about what it means to be alive than most of us will accumulate in a lifetime. That is a CHD child in their own words. And that is why we are here. So this one is for the children, not the parents, not the caregivers, not the doctors or the advocates or the well-meaning strangers. The children. If you are a child living with congenital heart disease and somehow these words have found their way to you, I want you to hear this directly. You are not a burden. I know sometimes it feels like you are. I know sometimes you see the worry on your parents' faces and you wish you could make it go away. I know sometimes you get tired of being the kid with the heart condition, tired of the appointments and the questions and the way certain conversations go quiet when you walk into the room. That tiredness is real, and it's okay to feel it. But I also want you to know something else. The way you move through the world, with everything you carry and everything you know and everything you have already survived, is one of the most remarkable things I've ever witnessed. Not because you're sick, but because of who you are in spite of it. Because of the way you laugh. Because of the way you notice things other people walk past. Because of the zipper you named yourself and wear without apology. You did not choose this heart, but you have lived inside it with a grace and courage and a fullness that takes my breath away. You are not defined by your diagnosis. You are not your scar, and you are not the sum of your surgeries or your limitations or the things the adults in your life worry about at night. You are August with his Hot Wheels. You are the child who sings too loud and argues about the remote and organizes things in systems only you understand. You are whole, you are seen, you are loved exactly as you are. And this podcast exists because you deserve a world that knows your story. So here's what I'm asking you to do today. If you are a CHD child or a CHD family, I want to hear your story in your own words, not the medical version, not the advocacy version, the real version, the Hot Wheels version, the zipper version, the version that only you can tell. Send your story to us at heartbeatforward.org. Tell us what it's like. Tell us what you wish people knew. Tell us the thing you have never said out loud because you were afraid it would worry someone. We are listening. Have always been listening, and your words matter more than you know. So if this episode reached you at the right moment, please share it. Send it to a CHD family. Send it to a teacher or a coach or anyone who works with children who might be carrying something quietly. The more people understand what CHD children are actually living, the better this world gets for every single one of them. Visit heartbeatforward.org to learn more and support our mission. Thank you for being here for episode 5. To August and every child like him, to every CHD child who has ever looked in the mirror and named what they saw without flinching, to every small voice that has been waiting for someone to stop talking long enough to listen, this one was yours. This is Small Hearts, Loud Voices. I'm Adrian Adair, because every small heart deserves a loud voice.